1945. Thousands of balloons were drifting across the American sky. No, these were not children's toys. They were bombs. And they had traveled over 8,000 kilometers from Japan. How could something so simple cross an ocean and kill on American soil? Near the end of World War II, Japan was slowly losing. The United States was capturing islands across the Pacific. American bombers were striking Japanese cities. Supply lines were breaking. Resources were shrinking. Japan needed a strategy, something that could strike the American mainland directly. But there was a problem. They had no long-range bombers capable of reaching the continental United States. They had no intercontinental missiles. So, they decided to trust the wind. A new idea began to take shape, one that did not rely on engines or fuel, but on the natural power of the upper atmosphere. This story still matters today because it reveals something important about innovation in war. It does not always come from bigger machines or more advanced weapons. Sometimes it comes from understanding nature itself. And sometimes the quietest weapons travel the farthest. In 1943 and 1944, Japanese scientists began studying high-altitude wind currents over the Pacific Ocean. They focused on a powerful air current known as the jet stream, a fast-moving river of air nearly 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface. These winds traveled at speeds between 200 and 300 kilometers per hour, flowing steadily eastward toward North America. According to military records later recovered after the war, Japanese planners believed that if they released unmanned balloons into this current, the wind itself might carry them across the Pacific. And that is how the Fugo balloon bomb was born. Each balloon was nearly 10 meters wide. It was made from layered Japanese washi paper glued together by hand. The paper had to be strong enough to survive freezing temperatures at altitude. The balloon was filled with hydrogen gas. Attached beneath it were high explosive bombs and incendiary devices designed to start forest fires in North America. But the most advanced part was its altitude control system. If the balloon dropped too low, a built-in barometric sensor would trigger. Sandbags attached beneath would automatically release, one by one, allowing the balloon to rise again. This cycle could repeat multiple times. This system allowed the balloon to stay airborne for nearly 3 days. For the 1940s, this was astonishing technology. Between November 1944 and April 1945, Japan launched approximately 9,000 balloon bombs. Thousands of silent weapons drifting across the Pacific Ocean. Most never made it. Some fell into the sea. Others failed mid-flight. But around 300 balloons were confirmed to have reached North American soil. They were discovered in California, Washington, Oregon, and even as far inland as Michigan. At first, American authorities were confused. Farmers and civilians reported strange paper debris falling from the sky. Some balloons exploded, others were found intact. The U.S. military quickly began investigations. Laboratory analysis traced the sandbags to beaches in Japan. The paper and construction matched Japanese materials. The attack was real, but the American public did not know. The first confirmed evidence came from recovered balloon fragments. Military investigators examined the paper, glue, and sand ballast. Geological testing matched the sand to coastal regions of Japan, confirming their origin. After Japan's surrender in August 1945, captured military documents verified the Fugo program. Officials stated the goal was to ignite forest fires and create panic among American civilians. Physical remnants still exist today. Fragments and unexploded devices have been discovered over the decades, some even in the 21st century. The historical record confirms the campaign happened at scale, but its impact remains debated. Some historians argue the campaign had minimal military effect. Wet winter conditions along the West Coast prevented most fires from spreading. Others note that the U.S. government imposed strict wartime censorship. Newspapers were ordered not to report balloon discoveries. The strategy was silence. If Japan believed the balloons were failing, the launches might stop. Because of this blackout, complete records may never exist. What is clear, the campaign did not change the course of the war, but it did reach American soil. May 5, 1945. In the forests near Bly, a pregnant woman named Elsie Mitchell went on a picnic with 5 children from her church. It was a quiet spring day. The children found a fallen balloon. They approached it. Moments later, it exploded. All 6 were killed instantly. They remain the only known civilians killed on the U.S. mainland by enemy action during World War II. There were no warning sirens, no battlefield, just a forest, and something that should not have been there. A memorial now stands near the site. War does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it drifts in. Nearly 9,000 balloons were launched. Around 300 reached North America. Most fell unnoticed. One did not. The Fugo campaign did not change the outcome of World War II, but it proved something new. Distance was no longer protection. The Pacific Ocean, once a barrier, had become a bridge. Paper balloons carried by wind became the world's first attempt at an intercontinental weapon. Long before modern missiles and drones, this was the warning. War could now arrive from across the horizon, silently, unseen, and sometimes too late.